Welcome to your your Rachel Pollock's version of the Celtic Cross. Now it's super interesting. I'm just giving you a little précis if you want to look at it. It seems to be about a kind of moment of resurgence that's coming or has just come in your life. There's just one very interesting card because I did a sample reading for you before with another spread that I decided not to do. We might do it at another time. And the reason that I didn't do it was because there was a position which is, what do you covet? And it came out with this, the Four of Cups, and I thought, that doesn't make any sense. So I put it back in and decided to do the Celtic Cross. And now, in the position of what is it that your hopes and dreams are, the same card has come up. So that's very interesting to me. So I think this reading really is about your attitude to sort of claiming power, potentially. There's really wandy outcomes and lots of majors, so if you want to stick around, do. But it's something to do with your attitude to power, I want to say, or yeah, let's see, let's dive in. But it starts with these two amazing cards. You in the inside is the star. So you're going to have to forgive my nails. I'm going to try not to put them on too much. With the star, let's cover her like this rather than with my nails. With the star, we can see the star of your hopes and bright hopes and dreams, the 7 stars of Venus, this beautiful figure pouring the water into the pool and the land. She's got the bird of ibis behind her. She's in a very resplendent state, and it's really, really lovely. So it tells me internally, I think that where you're at is quite at a kind of pivotal point where you're really getting into what it is that you really want and need in your life, who you are. There might have been a bit of recovery from something that has just happened that's not so much fun, because the star usually comes after the tower. So she's a kind of recalibration point, but a very beautiful one, where we understand the foundations of something that needed to come down mean that there's been a shock in our life, and then she's the healing that comes after it. She's just so abundant, so it's a very sort of rich internal place to come from. How that makes you act on the outside is as the hermit. So you take that information and off you go with it. There's a sense of walking off into your true path. You know, both of these figures are on their own. He's got the star now that is above her, is now in his lantern, and he's following it. So you're prepared to go on a quest with this information. It's big information, and you know that it's going to probably temporarily take you away from what you've known in order to learn the true lessons and come back to your community. It's like really forging your own true way. That's what we're talking about here. At the basis of the reading are 3 lovely cards and 1 card of need. So we've got the 6 of Swords, the Wands, the 5 of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, and the 9 of Pentacles. So it's strange to see this 5 of Cups in the middle of a card. The 6 of Swords talks about success, being acknowledged by your community. The 3 of Cups is being with your community. And the 9 of Cups, she's on her own. She's very, very realised. She's very successful. She feels as if everything is exactly where she needs it to be, and she's succeeded a lot. So it's just quite jarring to see a card of need and lack and not having enough money or community next to being acknowledged by your community, celebrating with your community, and definitely having enough money. So she's like, this is like a thorn in your toe. And I think this is partly what this 4 of Cups is about that's coming up later. There's one little piece of the pie that you haven't quite worked out yet, that there's some little piece of you that is still holding on to an identity that's needy and desperate, when everything else is pivoting and moving towards the exact opposite. Everything else suggests being in community, celebrating. It's so strange. There's this this little part of you that is very out of odds with everything else. I don't quite get it. I don't quite get it. So I see a similarity today between these two, which are both looking very determined. Your determination that your community recognises and that you recognise has led you to great success. Celebrating with your family, friends, your community, not necessarily family actually, it just could be your friends, being acknowledged. Okay, these are great things. And right in the middle of it, feeling all the exact opposite. So that's what we're going to try and work out in this reading. What is that little part of you that's not coming along for the big ride of acknowledging how amazing you are? And how does it turn up as the Four of Cups, which is refusing an offer that's taken to that you're given? And why? Why have you got such resistance? So interesting. I haven't got the answers yet, but we'll get there. We're going to cap these afterwards. So in the recent past, the Magician and the Death. So two very powerful major arcana cards. I mean, all the major arcanas are powerful. So we've now got 4 already. 5 in total in your reading. So this says to me that you've gone through an ending and you're starting to manifest again. You might even have brought about an ending because you realised something needed to be changed. It is also, obviously with the Death, we're really talking about a rebirth. In order to be reborn, we have to let go of lots of things. But in the recent past, it shows you making this rebirth. It's not because the Magician is so powerful. It's not that it happened to you. I feel you brought it on, or you acted very strongly within that rebirth. What can I see in these? So there's a great sense of agency here, which works with all of these really positive cards. I can see the little carvings in the bottom of his table. What do they look like? We've got water castellations, a sort of cross that looks a bit like a kind of ghost to me today, a ghost of religion. The idea of castellations, your clan, and water, emotions over something ghostly to do with your clan. Maybe you had to change something about your family that has been a sort of ancestral problem that you've had to kind of cause some sort of rebirth. Maybe you've been doing some therapy. We've got the rose at the base of this girl's dress, the white dress. So a rose, a red rose of passion. I'm seeing the crown off the old king's head. So it does feel, we always say with the Death, the old king is dead, a new one is rising. It feels like something, because I saw those little castellations, and it might be to do with religion, it might be to do with how you've been taught to worship, it might be to do with something that was in charge in your sort of family law, that you are bringing a new metaphorical king, by which we mean, there's a new sort of rulership in your mind if no one else's. I'm seeing the crosses everywhere on the Death card. So in the field, on the hands of the bishop, on his gloves, and along the reins of the horses with those skulls. So X marks the spot on there, and along his sleeves as well. So many signs of the cross. But I think, so it really could be something to do with religion. We're getting the church bells now. It could be some change in the way that you relate to your original religion, or the messages from your original religion. But you've been very active in it, with this hermit, with the star, knowing exactly who you are. One potential outcome is the King of Wands. Very, very self-determined, this character, very punchy. What I'm looking at here is that point right at the end of the platform where nothing is. Like, what's behind him? He's almost like, I've never thought, what's he sitting on actually? Is he today he feels like he's on one of those giant castellations, the bits at the edge of a castle. He could be sitting on the edge of one of those, looking out over his kingdom. So something to do with your castle, your what you consider to be your domain has changed. There's been some emotion brought in. There's a new king in your domain. And one potential outcome is that this king, who's the ultimate entrepreneur, is going to take over. He looks a bit nervous. So he's going to take over and he's going to do his thing, but he's not used to being in this position. Okay, so coming up in the near future, we have lots of movement with the Two of Pentacles, the Chariot in reverse, and the Five of Wands in reverse. I don't really read reversals normally, but I'm going to in this case because it's interesting. It sort of says that you're juggling these new realities, and you're holding back your competitive spirit with the Five of Wands and your chariot, your mythic quest that probably you're very well placed to move to, because you have this incredible knowledge from the Hermit and the Star. You're learning who you really are, and something is making you keep juggling and not moving forward with. So these two, they've got such lovely, vigorous, fast movement energy. So why are you not letting them move forward? Why is that sort of sense of competition and that sense of mythic quest being held back by you juggling something? What are you juggling? Two versions of your reality, lots of ideas, physical ideas. So this is where it starts. So we have all of these big punchy cards there. And now we get into slightly murkier ground. We have got the sun coming up, but what's interesting is when it comes to your attitude, the King of Cups, this is a Piscean card for me. He's very emotional. He's full of great understanding, spiritually and emotionally. He's very, very wise. He's sort of the king of that realm, which is like a lot of Pisceans that I know, and what I know of their energy. But very emotional because he feels so much, because he's so tuned into those realms. You know, he's got so much broiling emotion going on around him. Look, it's a big sort of complicated sea, and he isn't quite sure what he feels about this new situation, this new, the death, the new dawn, that you've somehow contributed to it. There might be a sense of sort of guilt. And what is this Five of Pentacles in the basis of the situation? This one little part of you that's still holding on to a sense that there's lack and there's need. It could be real. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying, what is it? It's really fascinating to me. So this is your attitude. He's emotional. He's unsure. He looks determined to try and get to the bottom of it, and it looks like he's got a giant sofa behind his head. Green shoes. Yeah, there's a sort of extra determination in his face that I don't normally see. So despite being very tuned into the emotional world, he's sort of being quite kingly and rigid in it. He's trying to hold on. So your attitude is very much you, with all of your skills that you would normally have. Oh, Pisces and... There's a lady on a bicycle people. Just to let other people find the reading if they want to. I put it on the thumbnails. So, yeah, so you're very much in your own strength, but also with all of the... I suppose what we're saying is with any of the... There is a vulnerability to your strength. There is something that you have to incorporate into the Piscean psyche, which is that because you feel so much, it puts you into quite a vulnerable position. I don't know if you remember, there was a program called Firefly, which was done by Josh Whelan, who was the guy that did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This might be an old reference to people. And Firefly came next, and it was a sort of Western set in the science fiction world. And there was a character in it, and I've forgotten her name, but she felt everything. And she's coming to my mind. She's the sister of one of the main characters, and we sort of love her desperately. But she feels so much. it's completely overwhelming to her. And so she's sort of in a sense of perpetual overload. She's coming to my mind. So there's a bit of that. Now, your environment, though, is all this yangy kind of manifestation. It's like you've still got a little bit of your concern for all the sort of nuances of the situations, yeah, but there's a sense of full steam ahead. We're riding away from the wall of past hurts. The sun of the manifestation is sunnily looking over this kid who doesn't even need to wear any clothes because he's so sort of full of gusto, and the white horse of purity, the sunflowers, everything is kind of facing towards where we want to go and away from what has been difficult. And now comes the card that I'm unclear on. So, your hopes and fears. Maybe it's as simple as this, actually. In your hopes and fears, you hope you'll take the cup, but you're scared you don't have the strength to take it, that you're scared it will be too different from your normal view of yourself. You're scared that this up-leveling, which I can see here really clearly, what does that do to the part of you that has been part of your identity, that identifies with those needy aspects, like, the vulnerable psyche, the person that needs money and support, the person that's out of the group. How do you integrate your deep knowledge of that side of yourself and other people into this incredibly uplifting energy? I think that might be it. And that's why in the near future we don't see you quite jumping onto the chariot and going off, and why we don't see you competing and jumping in with all that fun. You're still sort of holding space for this other reality. So you hope you'll take this amazing offer, this amazing cup, and you also fear taking it because you don't know what happens when you do. And then, so coming up in your final outcome, we have the Two of Wands. So Alexander overlooking these, do you remember I kept seeing the castellations? He's back on the castle walls. Those are the castellations. One bit where he's got his wand resting there, that he's looking, where can I place this? He's deciding. I also sort of saw the King of Wands looking out. Strangely, in your potential outcome, it felt like he was on a castellation. That's what I saw. It felt like he was on the edge of that. So, and right in the basis of the magician's table, I saw the castellations. Let me double check. Yeah, it's like a little crown, the middle image, but it looks like castellations on a castle. The edge of the castle wall, the bit where you look out, like your final outcome is looking out over the edge of the castle wall. So that sort of adds to my understanding of what's happened in the near past. Looking from your position of power, looking from your current identity, we're now looking out over, and now we see you looking and deciding, okay, I do need to conquer further shores. I do need to allow my wand that we see you holding here in your recent past and here in your potential outcome, one of your outcomes, and here in your outcome. I need to work out where to put this. I have to dare to go from my current castle, from everything I know about my reality, and go out and claim some new territory with my passion. That's so lovely. Right, let's cap this. Surprisingly cold here still. I had such a hot day yesterday. I'm so annoyed with myself. I sat on the step and let my face get burnt. I was just enjoying the feeling of the sun. Right, what have we got here? 9 of Spells. Who's that? That's lovely. This is from the Enchanted deck. I haven't had this card in all the time I've been doing these readings. I don't think I've had it. It's strange. They go in different circulations. Right, 9 of Spells. So this is a comment. It'll pull us to bits. Have we got any other 9s? Yes, the 9 of Pentacles. I wonder whether it is the 9 of Pentacles in your basis of your reading this incredible power. Yeah, it's another version of the 9 of Pentacles. This is great. So it's the basic précis of it is mastery of your inner gifts, mature power, defense against the dark. This witch doesn't need a wand or any other tool to cast her circle. Her magic is within her. That's interesting. When I'm talking a lot about where to plant your next wand, it's kind of saying, it's trying to refer you back to the fact of how powerful you are, beyond your wand. Oh, I hope that doesn't go on for too long. Somebody's alarm is going off. Uh-oh. Right, let's see. Okay, witches have no fear of the nighttime forest. That doesn't mean there is nothing to fear there. Wild beasts and creatures, both earthly and unearthly, roam the woods at night. Nevertheless, this witch has come to her sacred spot to perform a spell at the dark of the moon. Shining eyes and vague shapes move in the shadows. Maybe they're harmless, maybe they're not. There could even be other witches intent on menacing her. It wouldn't be the first time. She draws a protective circle in the light around her, which keeps any dangers at bay. Within this warding circle, she can summon all her powers to take command of the situation. This card signifies that you have everything you need to accomplish your intention. You have the skills, the experience, the maturity, and most important of all, the will to make it happen. No one can stand in your way of your success now. Mark out your territory. It's time to bring forth your full potential of power. What am I to do about this? I might have to stop for a moment. But then I'm in my flow. Why is it going off? 9 of Spells. I'm not sure it is the 9 of Pentacles. I think it's the 9 of Wands. It's saying you're protected. Yeah, it is actually the 9 of Wands. Trying to keep the sound away from you with the book. I wonder what's happened. Someone broken into a car. Anyway, so it's saying you're protected. It's saying to us, don't worry about moving forward. Don't worry about moving forward. Phew. You are protected. Okay, so that's interesting that went off, and well done if you managed to get through that. That was so annoying. You are protected despite feeling a little bit shaky about moving out of your normal identity. Let's pull some oracles for you. Okay, that one came out immediately. Risk. Yeah, take the risk. There is a risk because you're on this path, which is like the hermit's path, but you're protected. We've just seen that from the 9 of Wands, which has come up as the 9 of Spells. So we're not asking you to be frightened. We know that this shakes your identity and it frightens you to take this new exploration out of your normal castle, but you need it for growth. Look, isn't that beautiful? Growth. Take the risk for growth. There is protection. I love that. I love how the cards are working together. And then let's get one of these nature spirits oracles. So any other comment on this? Yeah, you have the warrior of the heart. This one keeps coming up. We obviously all have to be quite brave at the moment. Be a warrior of your heart. Be brave. That you need to take the risk for your growth. Okay, this is interesting. Now we're going to take... I'm going to cap it at the end with the teeny tiny tarot, but at the moment I'm going to it's funny, I was, when I say teeny tiny tarot, I realise that's an expression that I must have picked up from watching hours of Cindy on Awakening Spirit Tarot. You should check her out, she's great. It's funny, I wonder whether there are anyone else, and she popped into my mind. So here we have the she's great, 8 of Stones, and it's, look at those broken bonds at the top. Let's see what this is about. So this is the Rachel Pollock deck, and she's was an incredible scholar of tarot, and I really recommend looking at any of her books. And this deck is very, very beautiful. She had lots of very wise and wonderful things to say. So 8 of Stones. So we've got this Pegasus with these broken bonds. It feels like you flying. Divinatory meaning, contradictions, even more. The inspiration and excitement we draw from contradictions and paradoxes. Accomplishments in work or business, hard work with powerful results. Liberation through fresh ideas. liberation through fresh ideas, and the excitement and inspiration we draw from contradictions and paradoxes. So, the very idea of a flying horse is a paradox. It becomes more so when we think of this horse as made of stone, the very body of the earth. The mind can think of something impossible and give it reality in art. Through the unity of imagination and work, we take a material substance, stone, and transform it into something still material, for the stone doesn't vanish, yet also imaginal, that is, of the imagination. The flying horse does not represent ideas alone, but also achievement. The unknown artist has brought an idea to life in the form of a statue. The Eight of Stones is a card of hard work, inspired by vision. Because the imagination and the embrace of paradox can liberate us from our current situation or chains of the past, we see chains that have snapped around the sun. Okay, that's lovely because we've got the sun in your environment. So it shows that, oh, that's so lovely. I love how the cards, I was kind of thinking, how does this work? I sort of get it, but actually it's saying, let's carry on, because that's your environment, the sun. So we have the chains have now snapped. So the imagination has liberated us from our chains of the past. The chains have snapped around the sun. The chains that hold us may be invisible, for they may have begun in childhood and grown along with us until they just seem part of reality. When we begin to envisage other possibilities for our lives, as we see you doing repeatedly, looking from those castles, ramparts, we begin the work of breaking the chains. This is what this reading is about. I get it now. That's you being frightened to take the card, the cup. Above the horse we see the broken chains around the sun, as if the light has been imprisoned. Your light was imprisoned, and now has broken free or been liberated through the force of this magical horse. So the idea of a flying horse expresses the human love of paradox and the power of the imagination to envisage creatures impossible to find in nature. So the power of this magical horse that we see you on with this kid in the sun. In order for you to get into your full manifesting, we need you on a magical horse to break through the power of the to bring the power of the sun, the manifestation, and all those old chains. So the old chains, what we're really talking about, let me move some piles of cards here, is this. Amid the basis of you as you've become, which is quite amazing and resplendent, we have that little idea that there is still needy, young, I always see these as kids, they're not, but it's because he's very short, the guy with the crutches. There is a childlike person that we now need to allow you to take a risk. You're safe. You remember when that alarm went off? That was almost like part of you going, no, don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. Don't let us. We mustn't move forward. It's not safe. Because I was busy saying you're protected, you're safe, you can take the risk, you are a warrior, you can go on this journey. And there was part that was saying no, because I was reading the Nine of Spells, which is about protection and saying you have everything you need. You don't even need the wand. It's a really beautiful reading. I just want to look at her. Now we've got more talk whenever I say this. It's still open on my lap because I was wanting to return to it. So, mature power. You are mature. Defense against darkness. God. That's interesting, isn't it? Defense against darkness, and then that went off to try and interrupt us. Like there is some sort of, almost like a curse or a spell on you that's trying to stop you taking this risk, trying to stop you moving forward. I mean, obviously this is for entertainment only. Don't take any silly risks based on what I say. Trust yourself. So this signifies that your inner self. This card signifies that you have everything you need to accomplish your intention. You have the skills, the experience, the maturity, and most important, the will to make it happen. No one can stand in the way of your success now. Mark out your territory. It's time to bring forth your full potential of power. She draws a protective circle of light around her, which keeps the dangers at bay. Within this warding circle, she can summon all her powers to take command of the situation. maybe shining eyes and vague shapes move in the shadows. Maybe they are harmless, maybe not. Maybe they are other witches intent on menacing her. It wouldn't be the first time. I mean, it is quite interesting that car alarm went off there. And I'm sure some people, if there's anyone on this reading, clicked off at that point. It's a new channel. I hope not. I hope you stuck it through, because it was very difficult for me to keep my concentration at that point. It was like, come on, we're saying you've got what you need. We can see you as the Six of Wands, the Three of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, but why do you still have a tiny part of your entity that won't break the chains? We need you to break the chains, remember, in order to move into this environment of the sun. And what have we got here? Yeah, messages. There are lots of messages going to come to you. You might be in that realm of messages. What else from Teeny Tiny Tarot? That's interesting. So this is coming back again. This in your near future. So it wants to talk about this. Okay, tell us about why they're not moving forward on their chariot, that thing. So we've now got the King and Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups. I love that. That's saying, remember who they are and their attitude. You were the King of Cups in your attitude. You're now coming with the Queen of Cups, his consort, his wife, and the Ace of Cups. It's saying, maybe what will let you move forward in your chariot and your wandy competitive drive is remembering that actually whatever you do will come from this place of your intrinsic Piscean loving understanding of emotions, deep depth, nuance, being incredibly nurturing and loving of those around you, understanding spirit, grasping and offering all that love. If you can remember that actually you in your full power brings all of that incredible triumvirate of cards, maybe you'll be happier to move forward, because the world needs a bit more of that. What was behind it? Oh yeah, because that was the one that why we were still juggling is because we're not remembering that actually we can move forward on this quest, because all of this comes with us. It isn't, I know what's going on with that in the near future. The energy of the chariot and the energy of the Five of Wands feels very sort of yangy, competitive. Probably, where are the cups for Pisces? Where's the emotion? Where's the understanding of the heart and the spirit? But you've still got it. It's still coming with you. So remember that other reality, which is the reality of your inner being, the heart and everything, is coming with you. That's part of your chariot. You're not leaving it behind. Hopefully this helps to unlock you. Thank you for getting through, if you got through that wonderful interruption from goodness knows who, and see you again.